Hi everyone, welcome to the session on signals and systems. So up to the last class we completed 8 properties of the Fourier series. So in this class we are going to discuss the ninth property of the Fourier series, which is a very important property for the examination point of view. That is our Parseval's power theorem. Parseval's power theorem is the ninth property. First I will write the statement. After that we prove the statement. So in the examination, the question is given like this: state and prove the Parseval's power theorem for the Fourier series. Like that the question came in the examination. Exclusively they are asking. This is the ninth property, Parseval's power theorem. So when it comes to the statement, see if x of t is a periodic signal with time period t, its complex exponential Fourier series coefficient is Cn. So before going to prove this property, everyone should recollect the complex exponential Fourier series expansion. Complex exponential Fourier series expansion of a periodic signal x of t. So what is this expansion? Sigma n equal to minus infinity to plus infinity, because we are going to prove every property based on this only. So this is your complex exponential Fourier series expansion. Your x of t is represented in terms of the exponential functions. Here Cn is what? The complex exponential Fourier series coefficient. How can you find out Cn? So 1 by t integral 0 to t. So x of t, your signal x of t into e power minus jn omega naught t dt. So you should remember this formula, very important formula, Cn, complex exponential Fourier series coefficient, because we prove all the properties based on this equation only. Now when it comes to the Parseval's power theorem, the statement is like this: if x of t is a continuous time signal given to you and its complex exponential Fourier series coefficient is Cn, here in this case Cn is the complex exponential Fourier series coefficient of your signal x of t, then the Parseval's power theorem states that the average power of the signal can be obtained directly by using the Cn value like this: n equal to minus infinity to plus infinity mod Cn square. So this is the formula used to calculate the average power of the signal. So this is your statement. Parseval's power theorem states that if Cn is the complex exponential Fourier series coefficient of x of t, then the average power of the continuous time signal, that is P, is obtained from the Cn value itself. Sigma n equal to minus infinity to plus infinity mod Cn square. So this is the statement for Parseval's power theorem. Directly Cn value is given to you. They are asking calculate the average power of the signal. You just take this formula as the granted to calculate the average power of the signal. Sigma n equal to minus infinity to plus infinity mod Cn square. So this is your statement, Parseval's power theorem. This is very important. Now when it comes to the proof, we are going to prove this statement. Now already you know how to calculate the average power of the signal. I already told you in the case of energy and power signals how to calculate the average power of the continuous time signal. So this is calculated previously using this formula. So integral 0 to 2 mod x of t whole square dt. So this is the formula previously we are using to calculate the average power of the continuous time signal. So using this formula I am going to prove this one: sigma n equal to minus infinity to plus infinity mod Cn square. That is your right hand side equation. That is my average power equation in terms of the Cn. Now to prove this one, so let us rewrite this equation: mod x of t square. So I can write mod x of t whole square is like this. So it is x of t into x conjugate of t. I can write this x of mod x of t whole square in this way, x of t into x conjugate of t. Why? Because x of t is a complex valued function. So x of t is a complex valued function. Suppose x of t is a plus jb. It is a complex valued function. Now what is x conjugate of t? What is x conjugate of t? Apply conjugate both sides. So what we will get? A minus jb will get. Now if you multiply the x of t with x conjugate of t, so what we will get? A plus jb into a minus jb, which is equal to a square plus b square. That is the right hand side, a square plus b square. Now what is this a square plus b square? So what is the value of mod x of t? So x of t is a complex value signal. It is equal to a plus jb. Mod x of at is what? Square root of a square plus b square, implies applying square both sides. Mod x of t whole square is what? A square plus b square. Therefore a square plus b square can be written as mod x of t whole square, that is equal to x of t into x conjugate of t. Now in the calculation of average power, there is mod x of t whole square is there. So I rewrite this mod x of t whole square like this. I already proved this one. Mod x of t whole square is nothing but x of t into x conjugate of t. Now what is your average power? Px of t is equal to, so it is equal to 1 by t integral 0 to t mod x of t whole square is nothing but x of t into x conjugate of t dt. Now already you know x of t, already you know. So this is your x of t. Now apply conjugate on both sides. You put x of t as it is. We need to manipulate x conjugate of t. Now for that you know x of t, this is your x of t. Now what is your x conjugate of t? So your x conjugate of t is what? So applying conjugate on both sides of the above equation. Cn is also a complex number, so which is we have Cn conjugate. So integral e power jx conjugate is nothing but e power minus jx. Therefore it is e power minus j n omega naught t. We know e power jx conjugate is what? I am going to consider conjugate for x of t both sides. So e power jx conjugate is nothing but e power minus jx. Cos x plus j sin x conjugate is cos x minus j sin x. So this is your x conjugate of t. Now I use this x conjugate of t in the calculation of the average power. So average power of the signal is equal to what? Now 1 by t. So integral 0 to t. So x of t into x conjugate of t is replaced by sigma n equal to minus infinity to plus infinity. So your Cn conjugate into e power minus jn omega naught t. So that is your x conjugate of t into dt. Now let us rearranging this equation. I just substitute x conjugate of t. So your x average power is equal to, so let us bring out this summation outside. Sigma n equal to minus infinity to plus infinity Cn conjugate. So let us bring out this factor outside. Next, what is remaining here? 1 by t. So integral 0 to t is there. So x of t is there into e power minus jn omega naught t dt. So this is your remaining factor in the above expression. I will bring out the summation and Cn conjugate outside. Sigma n equal to minus infinity to plus infinity Cn conjugate I will bring out outside. Now the remaining thing is here. So this is your remaining. Now what is this? Sigma n equal to minus infinity to plus infinity. Clearly observe the derivation. Cn conjugate is here. Next, what is this formula? 1 by t integral 0 to t x of t into e power minus j n omega naught t dt is what? Your complex exponential Fourier series coefficient. That is your Cn. That is your Cn. Now, you tell me what is Cn into Cn conjugate. I already told you x of t into x conjugate of t is what? Mod x of t whole square. X of t is a complex valued function. Here also Cn is complex valued function. Therefore, I can write Cn conjugate into Cn is what? Mod Cn square. Mod Cn square. So this is your right hand side. This is your right hand side. Your average power of the signal, which is the left hand side, now is equal to what? Sigma n equal to minus infinity plus infinity mod Cn square. So this is the formula directly we can use. So whenever the Cn is given to you, we can directly use this formula to calculate the average power. I will repeat this statement once again. If x of t is a continuous time signal given to you and its complex exponential Fourier series coefficient is also given to you, Cn. Cn is the complex exponential Fourier series coefficient of x of t. Then the average power of the signal is equal to sigma n equal to minus infinity to plus infinity mod Cn square. How can you prove this one? To prove this, we just consider the known equation. How to calculate the average power of the continuous time signal? Previously we used this formula. I already told you in the case of energy and power signals, how to calculate the energy and how to calculate the power of a continuous time signal and of a discrete time signal. Since it is a continuous time Fourier series, therefore I consider the average power equation in terms of the continuous time signal. So this is your average power equation. Now I just manipulate this equation so that I can get my right hand side, which is equal to sigma n equal to minus infinity to plus infinity mod Cn square. So this is your Parseval's theorem. Very important theorem, Parseval's theorem. State and prove Parseval's power theorem for Fourier series. Like that the question came in the examination, which is your SI question. So similar to Parseval's power theorem, there is a Parseval's energy theorem is there. So we discuss this Parseval's energy theorem. So in the case of Fourier transforms, we discuss this Parseval's energy theorem. So this is in the case of Fourier series. Remember here, Fourier series, we use Parseval's power theorem. If it is a Fourier transforms, we calculate the energy of the signal. That is your Parseval's energy theorem. So when we discuss the Fourier transforms, there I can tell you this Parseval's energy theorem. That is also very important in the case of Fourier transforms. This is about the Parseval's power theorem, which is your 9th property. Next go to the 10th property of the Fourier series. Properties are very important. You have to remember all these properties. The 10th property we are going to discuss is convolution property. So this is convolution. So convolution in time property. So this is convolution in time property. So this is our 10th property. First I will give the statement. After we will do the statement. You have to write the statement first. So the statement is like this. We have two signals. One is x1 of t. So its complex exponential Fourier series coefficient is C1n. Next we have another signal, which is x2 of t, and its complex exponential Fourier series coefficient is C2n. Then the convolution of, so I will tell you convolution x1 of t and x2 of t. This is your convolution. Then the convolution of the two signals So results in what is the complex exponential Fourier series coefficient. So convolution is a big chapter. I will explain this convolution in the later course of the subject, but as of now you should remember here convolution is nothing but an integral operation. So it is represented by star like this. So convolution of two signals. Convolution is nothing but an integral operation. So integral operation. Convolution of two signals always results in a new signal. So it is an integral operation. How can you perform the convolution operation? Remember here x1 of t and x2 of t are two signals given to you. The convolution of two signals is represented by this star. Here star is called convolution operator. So convolution operator. So convolution is very important topic. So in the later course of the subject, so I will give you the detailed analysis of the convolution, how we are going to perform this convolution. So I will tell you in the later course of the subject, but as of now, to prove this property, as of now you should remember here the convolution is an integral operation, and what is that integral operation? How can you perform the integral operation? So you just remember this formula. This is your convolution of x1 of t and x2 of t. So it is given by integral 0 to tau x1 of tau into x2 of t minus tau d tau. So this is the formula used to perform the convolution of the two signals. So you all of you remember this formula, convolution of two signals. It is an integral operation. The convolution of two signals will always produce a new signal. So let us consider the new signal is x of t. A new signal will be produced when you convolute the two signals. You just remember this formula, integral 0 to tau x1 of tau into x2 of t minus tau. Two signals are given to you. So x1 of t is given to you and x2 of t is given to you. How can you perform this integration operation? Means we have in the x1 of tau and x2 of tau, we perform these three steps. In the step 1 you replace t by variable tau, so that you will get x1 of tau and x2 of tau. If you replace t by x1 of t and x2 of t are given to you, you just replace t by a dummy variable tau, so that we will get x1 of tau and x2 of tau. In the second step we have the multiplication of x1 of tau and x2 of t minus tau. How can we get x2 of t minus tau? You just perform the time shifting operation of the second signal, so that you will get x2 of t minus tau. So in this third step we know x1 of tau and x2 of t minus tau. In the third step we need to multiply these two signals and perform the integration operation. So that is the sequence of steps we need to follow to perform this integration operation. So I explained this convolution in detail in the later course of the subject, but up to now you should remember this formula. This is a very important formula. That is the convolution operation. Convolution operation is nothing but integral operation. When you convolute two signals, we will get the new signal. So this is your new signal, x of t is your new signal. So and this, coming to the statement, two signals are given to you. x1 of t, its complex exponential Fourier series coefficient is c1n, and another signal is given to you, its complex exponential Fourier series coefficient is c2n. When we perform the convolution of the two signals, what is its complex exponential Fourier series coefficient? So that is we are going to find out. So what is its complex exponential Fourier series coefficient corresponding to x1 of t convolution x2 of t. This c1n is corresponding to x1 of t, c2n is corresponding to x2 of t, cn dash is corresponding to x1 of t convolution x2 of t. That we are going to find out. Cn dash, we are going to find out the cn dash. Now I write the equation for cn dash. So what is my cn dash? Already you know the cn dash equation, 1 by t. So integral 0 to t. See, cn dash is the complex exponential Fourier series coefficient of your x of t. So x of t into e power minus jn omega naught t dt. So this is your cn dash. Here x of t is what? Here x of t is x1 of t convolution, so x2 of t. So that is your x of t. Now you place x of t in the above equation so that I can get cn dash is equal to, so 1 by t integral 0 to t, x of t is what? x1 of t convolution, so x2 of t, that is your x of t, that is your x of t into e power, so minus jn omega naught t dt. So that is your cn dash, that is your cn dash. But you should know the convolution of two signals. What is this, the formula? So this is the formula for convolution of the two signals. You just substitute this formula in this equation. So we know the convolution of the two signals. So that is 1 by t of, so integral 0 to t, x1 of t convolution x2 of t is what? So integral 0 to tau, integral 0 to tau, so x1 of tau here into, so x2 of t minus tau d tau. So that is the formula used to convolute the two signals. So instead of x1 of t and x2 of t, I write this equation. Here we have e power minus jn omega naught t is there, into dt is there, into dt is there. So this is the equation after putting x1 of t convolution x2 of t like this, and I just manipulate this equation. Now I just multiply the equation by j omega naught n tau by, I just multiply the equation and divide the equation by the same factor like this, so that the result is same. When we multiply and divide this equation with the same factor, the result is same, cn dash. Now after multiplying and dividing with the same factor, so you just rearranging the equations, you just rearranging this equation like this. So just observe the equation, how I am going to rearrange the equation. Here integral 0 to tau, I write first equation like this. So integral 0 to tau, here x1 of, sorry, this is integral 0 to t, integral 0 to t is there. So integral 0 to t, sorry, this is integral 0 to tau, yes, integral 0 to tau, I can write x1 of tau here, and you bring out this denominator into the numerator, so that I can get integral j n omega naught d tau. Here d tau is there, so this is your d tau. So that is the first factor. So observe here, I just rearranging this cn dash equation like this. Integral 0 to tau, x1 of tau is there, here x1 of tau is there. Next I will bring out this denominator factor into the numerator, so that it is e power minus jn omega naught tau. So I write here, and we have d tau is there here. I write here d tau. So this is your first factor. Now the second factor, when comes to here, 1 by t is there. Here 1 by t. Remaining I can write here. So 1 by t integral 0 to t. Here integral 0 to t is there. I can write here integral 0 to t, and remaining is what? See, x2 of t minus, so x2 of t minus tau is there. So this is the second signal, shifting version of x of t by tau units. Next, we have in the numerator this factor e power minus jn omega naught t and e power jn omega naught tau. E power jn omega naught tau. Here observe, this is t, function of t, this is function of tau. I can write so e power minus jx into e power jx is what? So here I can write those two equations as e power minus j n omega naught of t minus tau, like that I can write. So t minus tau into, here we have remaining is what? dt is remaining here. So this is your dt. I just multiply these two exponentials. So e power minus jn omega naught t into e power j n omega naught d tau. So what I can get here? So e power minus j n omega naught of t minus tau. This is I got from this multiplication. I can write same here, same thing is here. Now you just keep this first one same as it is, and you just manipulate this second factor, because I want these two factors in terms of the standard form. So this is my standard form, standard equation. I want to express these two in terms of the standard form. This is already in the standard form, but there is one factor is missing, which is 1 by tau into tau. That is the factor missing here. And if you take the second, we need to manipulate this second to get this equation in the standard form. For this I can write here like this. Let us replace t minus tau by alpha. Let us replace t minus tau by alpha. Here I can get, now whatever the limits of integration, previously it is with respect to dt, now I can replace with alpha. Now in the integration I can use limits are for alpha. Here integration, what is lower limit for alpha? Here t equal to 0, what is the lower limit for alpha now? It is minus tau. All of you remember here. So this is limit is for t. So t equal to 0. But we represent the entire equation in terms of the alpha. Therefore we need to interchange the limits. We need to change the limits. So instead of t, now we are using the limits for alpha. We are using the limits for alpha. So when lower limit t equal to 0, your alpha is what? Lower limit for alpha is what? Minus tau. When upper limit t equal to capital T here, now what is your alpha? Upper limit alpha is what? In this integration, capital T minus tau. This is your upper limit alpha. Now your x2 of alpha is here. So x2 of alpha is here. This is your x2 of alpha. That is your x2 of alpha. Here x2 of t minus tau. T minus tau is replaced by alpha. So this is your x2 of alpha. into e power minus j n, here omega naught t minus tau is what? Alpha into, so what is dt? From this small change in dt is what? Tau is constant. This is a shifting operation. Tau is constant. Dt is nothing but d t alpha. That is your dt. That is your dt. Now observe this equation. Observe this equation. So this equation is in standard form or not? Is this equation is in standard form or not? So this equation obviously in standard form. So in the standard form, the integration limits are, we are using always the integration limits are, what is the equation for Cn? Cn is what? 1 by t. So integral 0 to t. So when we perform the integration to find out the Cn, we are always using over the time period. So when you subtract your lower limit from the upper limit, always we get the time period, always we get time period t, capital T always. Now if we observe here the integration limits, lower limit is minus tau, upper limit is capital T minus tau. So when you subtract this lower limit from the upper limit, can we get the time period capital T or not? That means what? We perform this integration over the range of the time period only, over the range of the time period only, and it is x2 of alpha into e power minus j n omega naught alpha into d alpha. What is your equation for Cn? Your equation for Cn is x of t into e power minus j n omega naught t. So dt. Here the variable is t. Here the variable is alpha. That is the only difference. That is the only difference. Let us observe clearly the equation. We do this integration with respect to dt. Variable is t here. I am changing the variable t to alpha. Just your variable is changing in this expression. Now is this in the standard form or not? So this is in standard form. And what is this equation? So this equation is corresponding to what? Your C to n or not? C to n, the complex exponential Fourier series coefficient of your second function or not? C to n. What is C to n? Complex exponential Fourier series coefficient of the signal x2 of t. How can you write the equation for x2 of t? Its complex exponential Fourier series coefficient. This is 1 by t integral 0 to t x2 of alpha and e power minus j n omega alpha into d alpha. This is in standard form. Now if we observe the first term in the Cn dash equation, this is not in the standard form. This is not in the standard form. Here 1 by t is missing here. Here 1 by t is missing here. So that we need to multiply and divide the with same factor, that is your t. And if we observe the first factor, this is your complex exponential Fourier series coefficient of signal 1 or not? Signal 1 or not? C1n. So 1 by t integral 0 to t x1 of t into e power minus j n omega naught t dt. Here also the variable is only t or tau. Just it is a variable. You can take any variable as the variable. So in the formula, if you want to bring this factor in the standard form, we need to multiply and divide by the same factor. Here we have t is the factor. Here we have this t is the factor. Therefore it is converted in the standard form and it is equal to C1n, and it is equal to C1n. Now what is the complex exponential Fourier series coefficient, your Cn dash, for x1 of t and x2 of t, convolution of x1 of t and x2 of t? It is nothing but the t times your C1n into C2n. So this is your complex exponential Fourier series coefficient of the convolution of x1 of t and x2 of t. That is your complex exponential Fourier series coefficient. let us observe, when you convolute your signals, its corresponding complex exponential coefficients are multiplied. Its corresponding complex exponential coefficients are multiplied. That is the observation. So for x1 of t, c1n is the complex exponential Fourier series coefficient. For x2 of t, c2n is the complex exponential Fourier series coefficient. Now I convolute the two signals, that is x1 of t convolution x2 of t. What is its complex exponential Fourier series coefficient? That is your cn dash. Cn dash is nothing but the multiplication of the corresponding complex exponential Fourier series coefficients along with time t, that is your answer. This is your convolution in time property. So I will stop today's class. So let us discuss the remaining property, which is the multiplication in time domain property, in the next class. So all of you, thank you very much for joining the session. See you all for the next class.